Everyone's watching alone tonight.
Probably.
Walking down the avenue where we used to play. The house on the corner is still the same today as it was when we were children, innocent as innocent can be. I borrowed all your records, you borrowed mine from me. We sat and talked for hours in a box hung in a tree, and we stole your daddy's last bottle of gin. Those were the times, those were the ways. So take me back, so take me back to the good old days. Looking back from here, I can see that we were blind to the burdens we would shoulder and the struggles we would find. But growing made us strong as strong can be. Those were the times, those were the ways. So take me back, so take me back to the good old days. Ice cream until our heads hurt. We were trading candy bars and sticks of bubble gum, trying not to laugh in church. Do you remember? Like I remember. And oh, those were the times. Ooh, those were the ways. Oh, so take me back, take me back.
You're watching Escape Adulthood Live, your #1 source for long-lasting, fast-acting, physician-approved adultitis relief.
On this week's show, we're talking about riding horses, eating peaches, and why 2020 could go down as your best year ever.
Greetings and salutations, everyone.
Thank you for shenanigating with us on this hump day in July. With so many good fruits you guys are mentioning already.
For all the early birds, we asked what your favorite summertime fruit is, and my mouth is watering.
I know. Watermelon.
It's hard to beat watermelon. We've got strawberries, Bing cherries.
Mango.
Bing cherry is probably my favorite.
Yeah, you do
I would say.
Yep. Yeah, Rose still is not feeling confident with the whole spitting the seed out. So she gets the whole
it's a bit traumatic for her.
Red-fingered kind of thing going where she's trying to cut it, and then by the hands that I'm talking about. So
yes. Well, we are glad to have you join us tonight. It's probably going to be our most controversial episode yet because I'm calling it. I'm calling 2020 best year ever. going to make my case in a little bit.
Do we have a cricket? What is that?
Heck yes. Are you guys having?
We both
cancel each
you
other
guys
out.
having a killer time?
What were you going to put? Heck
I was
yes.
gonna, heck yeah.
Heck yes, I did.
We got the dueling Napoleon Dynamite sound bites.
That's
going.
what happens when Jason sets me up with a keyboard too. But no, we need some crickets because I don't know if people don't understand this, but I don't really know exactly what Jason's going to say when he starts to talk. I know the general theme, but yeah, it's a true statement. So I'm very anxious to hear your thoughts on this tonight.
Yeah, well, we invite everyone to hit that little share button to get the message out into the world, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get from this. But I'm going out on a limb. But, we had kind of an interesting week recently, a couple days. We did something a little bit different where we had a boy night and girl night, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I took the girls down to a friend who we've been to a couple times.
As we talk about this, I get why the long face, Kim?
Oh.
Had to get that cheesy joke in there.
Many of you might hear. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. This is an awesome picture, by the way. I didn't actually take this picture. I did that.
Just
Sherry took
stole it.
So yeah, but anyway, yes. So the girls and I went down to a friend's house to have this horse experience, which now this is our 4th year in a row. Our dear friend Sherry Neal, who is also a speaker, and has this amazing volunteer. It's not really volunteer, but she does some bartering with a local friend who has horses and boards them. And so every morning, in order to spend time with horses, this is Sherry, she does all the chores at the stables. So a couple of years ago, she got wind of the fact that Lucy loves horses, and she's
kind of our horse whisperer in the family. Lucy is,
yes.
Right?
And Sherry's like, why don't you guys come and they could do she could do the chores with me and get to know what that is like. So 4 years ago, we went and did this, and every year since we've been going back. And so this year, Ro was very anxious to go as well. And these are big horses. I mean, we brought carrots. So here's the picture of us at the beginning. We brought a bag of carrots, and Ro was up in my arms because
intimidating.
Oh, I was intimidated, and Sherry was laughing because it was really overwhelming. They were so excited. There was about 4 or 5 horses at one point, just totally in our face, trying to get the carrots. So it was a really cool experience. This whole thing, the reason we bring this up is because one of our big philosophies with homeschooling is mentors. Okay, so when you find what your kid lights up about, which for Lucy, when she was 4, it was horses. So we've been, keeping our feelers out, keeping our ears and eyes open for people that we meet and run across that might have opportunities to be a mentor. So Sherry has become a mentor for Lucy. Here's the girls. They literally did the mucking out of the stalls, and I give Ro credit. She didn't complain.
No.
And
Lucy dug in right away.
Likes it. But she's like, this is part of it, and I get it. And she doesn't complain about it. Sherry jokes that she's had some other people come visit her, but they never come back a second time because it's not easy. And these horses, they require work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, and that's the thing is it's not just let's let the kids ride horses. Right. It's about let's show them what really goes into taking care of a horse and what's required for these animals. So it's a big part of it.
Yeah. The horse riding lessons are not cheap. So the idea of if you're going to commit to something, which we have not done that yet, but that idea that as she gets older, if she wants to invest some of her money into that, there's to see the whole picture is really important. So of course, and Sherry arranges that we can ride a horse while we're there, which is a big deal. So this is a stallion, you guys. Lucy and Ro both rode a stallion, which I think I was more nervous than they were. I mean, this is
award-winning too, from what I understand.
Multi-award-winning national champion horse. So it was pretty cool. This Desperado, the horse. But that was the moment that got captured of Sherry on one side, Lucy on the other, and she was leading Desperado back after they rode Desperado. And I don't know. It's very rewarding to see your kids like connect with somebody. And Sherry is such a teacher at heart and gives 110% of her attention and to kind of give Lucy the experience hands-on. So it's pretty cool.
Well, and that's the thing, like Kim said about the mentorship. You may have remembered a few episodes back, we talked about how Ben goes to my dad, who's a really skilled woodworker. And so he's been learning a lot of skills on, saws and drills and all sorts of things like that. And I think that's one of the things that people, when they hear that we homeschool, they say, oh, I could never do that. I could never teach my kids all the things. And that's one of the, I think, misconceptions is we don't see ourselves as teachers per se, that we have to be experts at every subject. We see ourselves sort of as coaches, where we help them find the information that they need to know and point them to the resources that will get them to the next level. And we're just kind of paying attention to what they're interested in. And like you said, try to find mentors to help plug in some of the gaps. I know a lot of homeschoolers do co-ops where someone might teach all of the art classes and someone else might do all of the homeschool, which is what's cool about homeschooling is the variety of ways you can do it that fit best for your family, your kids, your situation. So
1,000 million right ways. Right?
But yeah, this has been a kind of a fun little tradition. And this year, while the girls went down to Illinois, Ben and I, we had our whole night planned out based on 3 movies that I wanted to show him. We had a movie marathon. We watched, what did we watch? The 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, and we watched Jurassic Park, the first one, very first one, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. So classic movies from my childhood, and got to share them with Ben. A little bit more intense for like Ginny, so that's why it was kind of a good one to share with my boy. And we got pizza and farted and all of the good stuff that guys do.
Had that night together.
So yeah, it was good. But it was it's a good little tradition. I think we will be keeping that tradition going.
I think so too.
But it's not easy to watch 3 movies in a row. That was a little
tough work.
Yeah.
I mean, we're over here shoveling poop, and you guys are just trying to get through that 3rd movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a haul. What can I say? It was a joyful haul.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we are excited
Gators!
to share the newest thing in our store.
Look at this.
Which are these neck gaiters. I didn't know what a neck gaiter was 2 weeks ago. I would have assumed it was some sort of a fashion item in which an alligator, you take the skin and wrap it around your neck. I don't know.
We actually, when we flew, a lot of people had these on, of course, and we were like seeing them everywhere. And we're like, we got to get one of those. And then you realize that the shop that we work with, you can design your own. Yep. So yeah, I know. This is really
so
fun.
what we've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you guys should do masks. You guys should do masks." And I've been thinking about it. I've been trying to find the right thing. And the reason that I loved these is because they are multi-purpose. So one of the cool things is that not only can you use it as a mask, but you could use it as a headband, a bandana, a neck scarf, a scrunchie. There's all sorts of different uses for it. And so, we're not huge fans of unitaskers. I think Alton Brown coined that term of like appliance that only does one thing, or a specific tool in the kitchen that only does one thing. So I thought this was really a really cool way to bring this option that is so relevant for right now, but then something that will still be useful when this is all over, which is hopefully sooner than later.
Right. But obviously for right now, we all need to cover up. So this is a fun option. Why not have something that people are like, where did you get that? That is so cool. The kids were freaking out. Jason designed how many different ones?
9 different designs.
9 different designs over the weekend. And the kids were just like, I want that one. I want that one. I want that that one. So they are one size fits all. They're probably going to fall off the kids. I don't know how they'll work.
I don't know. That one in the upper right is a little girl. So she,
we'll
I don't know. We haven't gotten them in-house yet. They are available for purchase, but we haven't gotten any samples yet. But we know the company that we're working with makes really good stuff. So, so check those out on the store if you're interested in those.
And do we have like a deal going this week?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
what's the price?
$21.99.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim set the price.
Okay.
She's like, I wanted to set them for $2. And she was like, no, that's ridiculous. So
hey, he spent a long time designing these.
But they're super nice. So
yeah, pretty cool. Check them out. I think it will be a fun alternative to some of the boring ones out there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Well, I gotta tell you, eating a peach in season, perfectly ripe, is magic. It's also messy. Now, you can get a peach that is, not quite in season, and they won't drip quite as much, but it's not nearly as good. The best peaches are messy. Now, I have to admit, that being said, I actually prefer tidy. I like order. I like when the dishes are done. I like when the counter is cleared. I'm not a big fan when piles stay piles for too long, all right? I know that might be a little adultitis fueled, but I don't know. I find that I am more present, relaxed, and creative when clutter and chaos are minimized. That being said, I think we can all say that 2020 has been a bit of a dumpster fire. It's definitely not tidy. I recently looked at some of the goals that I wrote at the beginning of the year, and I had to cross 80% of them off because they were either now irrelevant, like things had gotten canceled or whatever, or impossible. And that was a little bit weird to kind of reflect on, considering we're only halfway through 2020. But I have to share a little secret. All right. I think that when I look back on 2020, I'm still probably going to think of it as a little bit of a dumpster fire, but maybe not as disastrous as it feels like right now. I actually think that when I look back on 2020, it is going to be one of the best years of my life. Now, it might take me a while to fully own that, but I can already see signs of this, okay? Back when the pandemic started, Kim and I, none of us knew what was ahead of us. And we started live streaming from our kitchen table just to try to encourage people. And that is what led to the show today. Like I said, we didn't know what was going on, but one of the messages that we hammered over and over and over again was look for the opportunity. If you remember, we encouraged you to ask the question, now that this has happened, what does this make possible? Now, this was advice that not only we shared, but we also followed. I can tell you that in this pandemic time, my faith has been strengthened more than it ever has before. This pandemic has brought my family closer together. We've created new little routines and rituals that we now do that I'm sure we'll keep doing. It's forced Kim and I to think about things in a new way, to push us to try new things, to learn new skills that I think are going to bear new fruit in the years to come. In fact, it instigated a new initiative that we're about to launch in a few weeks. More on that later, but I got to tell you, this is the biggest thing we've ever done. Super excited about it, and I know it never would have happened were it not for COVID-19. Now, I'm sharing this because I don't think that our situation has involved any particular luck or talent. This is a technique that is available to anyone. And I believe it's possible for your 2020 to be your best year ever also. Preposterous? I don't know. I think No matter what year we're in, we always have obstacles that rise up to thwart us. But the bigger the obstacle, the bigger the opportunity. Our attitude, our mindset, the frame we choose to operate within, that is entirely within our control. You can feel under attack and choose not to play the role of victim. You can feel anxious and choose not to cower in a corner and give in to despair. You can feel like everything is a mess and still choose to look for beauty. I remember the first time that we let Lucy take control of her ice cream cone for the very first time. We were at the Memorial Union Terrace in Madison overlooking Lake Mendota on a beautiful day. And rather than try to fight with her over this ice cream cone, we just handed it over, and it was Zanzibar chocolate, the darkest chocolate you can imagine. And she grabbed that ice cream cone and she looked at us and it kind of had this look like, are you serious? And when she realized like she could actually control it, she dug in. It was all over the place. It was a mess. Ice cream was dripping down her fingers, onto her shirt, onto her feet, onto her shoes. It was a mess. We had people all over, like coming by to take pictures of her because she was so adorable. She had the cutest little goatee you ever did see. Now, the interesting part about that is here's Kim, brand new mom, but has been around the block enough to know that this is a mess, right? This is a huge mess. And has flashes of like, this is a sugar high, this is sticky fingers, this is possibly a ruined shirt here, but she resisted. She let it go. She let Lucy have her fun. Now, it actually spurred on one of my favorite quotes from Kim, where she said, never let making a mess get in the way of making a memory. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm not ignoring the mess. I'm not ignoring the less than ideal outcomes that come from the messes. In fact, I'd like to offer up a moment of silence for Lucy's tank top. We got it home, we washed it, we treated it with those stain stick thingies, and it was toast. It came out, it was dead. It got offered up into the trash bin of history. But we decided that was okay because we thought, we'd rather have that memory than the shirt. Now, that's the key. The deciding part is the important part. Seeing with new eyes isn't about ignoring the mess. It's about choosing to sort through it to find something good. You might find a lifelong memory, stumble upon a new business model, or uncover the opportunity of a lifetime. You know how when sometimes people are asked if they would like to change something in their past that was kind of a negative experience, and oftentimes they'll say, no, I kind of want to leave it as is, because they know who they are sprung forth from that mess. They know the good that came out of it. And that's sort of how I feel about 2020. I may not want to relive it, but I don't think I'll want to undo it either. Sometimes life doesn't go the way we planned, expected, or even hoped. 2020 will probably go down as one of the messiest years we've ever experienced. The question is, are you improving the odds that this year will go down as one of your best? You guys, adventures are rarely tidy. Sometimes the greatest blessings come forth from the biggest messes.
I think you've convinced me.
Have I? Have I?
No, I see what you're saying. Oh,
messy.
I didn't realize this was going to be, you didn't bring me one?
No, because you got wine.
No, I see what you're saying. And I think when you said this year will go down as the messiest year, that has a different ring to it than worst. And I think there's a lot of especially on social media. I mean, we do have to laugh about this, which a lot of the memes are encouraging, but there's a lot of grumbling, especially as we get closer to schools starting and all the uncertainty. So it's good perspective.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I think the key is like, I don't know that I'd want to live it again. Right? Like any negative experience you've had, you don't want to go through it again, but I'm glad for what it's doing in us. Heck, even in our relationship, in our business, in our family, like I said, like it's bringing forth some really cool things. And I think maybe it'll take a few years for me to fully own it. But yeah, I think it's going to be something that we'll look back on. And even looking at the big picture of some of the advancements that are happening in technology and in the medical fields and even education and things that have been accelerated that wouldn't have otherwise been, that we'll look back and be like, oh, I'm pretty glad that happened.
For our Arrested Development fans out there, I have that Tobias moment. It will be good.
Yes, it's definitely a little bit of that. Lynn says she agrees 100%. What else we got? Helen, best is yet to come. I like that.
I liked Suzanne, her comment there. Hashtag
hot mess.
I know.
Yes.
Sometimes owning it is like, I'm in the mess right now. And especially, I know Suzanne works for a school district. Sometimes it's best to just admit it.
Yeah.
And not try to like fake it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a hot mess. There's no doubt about it.
That's okay. Why do we have to be like so perfect all the time? Right. Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
So hopefully that is encouraging for you. Please share this message. This will be in the Insider this week as well. If you think it would be encouragement to others, please share it. However you can. We always appreciate that. All right, you guys, time to get out the coloring, drawing, art making utensils. It is time to draw something fun. Again,
and I know you mentioned sharing. This is a really good time of the show to share, to say, I saw last week so many people said, come draw with me. So thank you to all of you who did that. I looked at them later and I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, and we're excited to share some of the art creations from last week in a little bit. But first, let's get down to business here. Let's see, we're going to draw, first of all, we're going to draw a little oval towards the top of the paper, okay? And you're going to draw another small oval in the middle of it, okay? Now I'm going to draw, this is going to be sort of a circular shape, but again, better, I've said this before, it's almost better if it's not completely
perfect
circular. Yeah, it's because this is like a real thing, and perfection doesn't usually happen in nature. Like there's not straight lines and perfect circles oftentimes. So there's your little well, it's going to be a peach. It's probably pretty obvious. Now I'm going to draw a little wavy line up at the top like this with a little stem in there, okay? And then now this is not just an ordinary peach. This is a transcendent peach, because why settle for a regular peach? So this peach has a little halo, and then we're going to draw a little line out here like this, and a little line out here like this, and then I'm going to draw 3 little bumps. 1, 2, 3. And what do you know? This peach has wings.
Aw, so
now
cute.
It also's got a little face.
Classic
And of
smile.
course, you can make your face however you want. Now, here's where we're going to have a little bit of fun here. I accidentally put everything in the color layer, so I'm going to move this.
By the way,
down.
the artwork behind us, I don't know that you mentioned that earlier, did you? It says the peach that transcends all understanding.
Yeah, so it really started out as kind of a jokey thing, you know,
Play on
referencing the
words.
Bible verse of the peace that transcends all understanding. And so this idea of this otherworldly peach, right? All right, so what I'm going to start here with this. Now, this could be a good thing if you have paint or colored pencil. you're going to do things a little bit differently. And because I have this app called Procreate, which is what I'm using right now, there's a link in the show notes. There should be for this, I think. I'm going to start with an orange. Now, if you were using crayons or colored pencil, you probably would start with yellow, and then you would work up orange, and then you would work up red. But I started with a middle tone of orange, and you'll see what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to take a slightly reddish color, and I'm going to just, what's cool about this is you don't have to, you can just kind of come up with some little shapes here, because a peach has different colors and different shapes that come in there. It's not all one color. And now I'm going to pick this orange again. I'm going to do a little bit yellowish. And same thing, I'm just going to put some colors in here. Now again, if you're drawing with marker or crayon or colored pencil, which is a different type of medium, obviously you would start with lighter colors and build up darker, because you can't do a dark color and then put a lighter color over the top of it. It's not going to work as good. So I'll just do like little shadings here of these different colors and blend them together a little bit. And you can kind of see it's kind of coming to have that sort of organic, peachy color. And there's like, you know, little highlights, okay? So again, no really wrong way to do this. Just kind of go with how you want. You tell me about that Bob Ross. We watched a really cool Bob Ross documentary the other day.
What was that on Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and it was about an hour. We watched as a family a Bob Ross documentary, and I am so happy we did. I just, you know, you kind of think you know a few things about somebody, but then when you see a documentary, it totally puts it in context. And what a cool guy. We were all, I think the kids were just so impressed. Talk about mentors. He was 52 years old when he passed away. So that was a little bit of an eye-opener.
I didn't realize he was that young.
I think, and he also, the other big takeaway is that he hated his hair. It became a trademark that he knew his brand needed to kind of have consistency, but he hated it.
Yeah, once he became kind of a household name with that hair, and then like they said they had art products with that logo of his face printed on it. It was kind of, that is how it went. Okay, so as Kim was talking, I added in a little bit of color. Now here is probably going to be my favorite tip of the night. And the number one way to make anything more whimsical, in my opinion, is to make it look like it's floating, especially inanimate objects. So one of my tips for this is to take a color that is slightly darker than the background. All right. Just a little bit darker. All right. Doesn't matter what color background you have. So if you're just drawing on white, it would be a real light gray. If you're drawing on yellow, it would be a little bit darker yellow, right? In this case, I've got blue. And so I've got a little darker blue. And I'm just going to draw an oval underneath of it and color it in. And that automatically makes it look like it's floating.
How simple is that?
Very simple little trick.
I just want to draw a whole bunch of fruit floating now.
And immediately now that peach looks amazing.
Right?
And, you know, you could put some little lines in here.
I like the connection between the floating halo and then the fact that he's elevating. And
yeah, so try that on any of your drawings where you're just drawing things, is put that little drop shadow under it. And again, it looks more realistic if it's subtle, right? Just a little bit darker than the background color. Looks a little bit more realistic that way. But here you go. Here is a transcendent peach, which I know everyone was dying to learn how to draw.
Definitely. And speaking of art, let's see what's going on in the studio.
Yeah, we've got a new studio sneak peek video coming up right here.
All right, back in the studio. Jason, you have another piece in the series of the Corona Blessings going here.
Yes, and I actually have a question for you, Kim.
Okay.
What color is a polar bear?
That would be white.
You would be wrong.
Oh,
but it would be what most people would say. So I'm working on a painting of a polar bear, baby polar bear, in the shelter of its mama.
Oh my gosh.
And it's one of the things, working on a painting like this, you would think would be very simple, pretty much just a black and white painting, but there is an enormous amount of color going on here, from purples and yellows. There's even some greenish gray. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So if you look at my palette, I'm using, this is all colors for this painting.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm using white, of course, but some yellows and browns and purple and blue and Payne's gray, which I think I've mentioned before, one of my favorite colors. And in my reference here, what's interesting is like the only real white in the picture is the little flecks of snow. And so there will be some of that in here, but the depth of the fur is taking me a lot of time because there's just a lot of color in there, and the way the light hits it, and some of the dirt on the polar bear. And
so do you apply the darker colors first and then bring in the lighter colors?
Usually I go dark to light on paintings like this, but there is also a little bit of back and forth, blending, mixing back together. Like this area up here wasn't dark enough, so I had to bring dark back in. But for the most part, I do it dark to light, and the last things I will do will be the white highlights. But in this case, a painting of what we would think of as a white animal is only going to have a very few bits of real pure white paint on it.
Huh, that is fascinating.
Interesting stuff, huh?
It gets you to use all the paints in your amazing drawer. Which drawer is it?
It's over there,
actually. Okay,
yeah.
You changed it. He's got like a little cart with all of his colors on there. But how cool is that? Thanks for sharing. And I actually asked that Jason would show you the progress he's made because he's been working on it. I don't know if you can see. It's adding. There's a lot more depth. It seems a lot more layers.
Added. So the little bear, little guy in the middle is not just very. Haven't really done too much with him, but the hair on the legs of Mama Bear is coming together. I'll probably do another coat of just depth. And yeah, it's been kind of fun. I thought this would be the fastest painting. Again, thinking it's a white, well, no. This is taking me probably the longest of this size that I've done, just because of getting the hair and the different colors to blend and look good. So still got a little ways to go on this, but it's coming along pretty good.
I'm sure you cannot grasp this through the screen and the camera work, but this, I just want to pet it.
Well, that's good.
So
that's the goal I'm going for.
Looking. And I actually grew up with we had a dog, miniature American Eskimo, and this reminds me of her fur because it was never white either. Even though she was a white dog, like if you really looked at it, right? There was so many other colors, and it really reminds me of that. So,
well, it makes me think we love going to zoos as a family, and one of the things that you'll notice if you look at zebras closely is they're not actually black and white; that they're actually just dark brown. And the white, again, is not a pure white either. But
the first time you pointed that out, my head literally blew up. Well, maybe not literally.
That's probably not literally.
Gross.
But that's one of the things that I think that's really what an artist does is they spend their entire life seeing, and the better you get at seeing, I think the better artist you become. So there's still things I look at now, and the way I paint now is better than 5 years ago, and it's a lot because I see better. I notice things more. Some of the details and the colors and things like that. So it's a lifelong practice, and it will never end. But
I will say Tracy Miller mentioned while you were doing your drawing in the Let's Draw segment about picture pages.
Oh yeah,
right. And she's like, whenever this comes on, I think I sing the song, and I can sing it too. Do you know the song? Picture pages, picture pages.
Lots of fun with picture pages. Lots of fun with crayons and with pencils.
Thank you for that.
Everyone else that knows that just sang along with us, right?
Thank you for that memory, Tracy. That was awesome.
Yes. Wendy says, love the polar bear. Can't wait to see the message. Yeah, I've got a fun little message and story behind that.
By the way, Wendy, you had shared that recipe on Facebook. She had a special orange dreamsicle dessert that she was making, or like a salad. So that looked amazing.
Yeah.
That they were going to be having during the show tonight. I love it when people are combining food experiences with the show. So
yes,
that is really cool.
Yeah, we did nachos last week, inspired by Kara Tracy, Paul and Kara Tracy, and we're kind of like looking. It's been interesting to see people are coming up with traditions and routines of like, this is the thing I'm going to make while I watch the show, or have to have after the show, because some people are in different time zones and whatnot.
Getting some ice cream for the show and things like that. So that's very
cool. Let us know. We love, you can email kj@escapeadulthood.com your pictures. We love to hear what you're doing as a part of this routine that is this Wednesday show. We love that. So.
This is like one of my favorite parts of this show because we get to celebrate you guys, and you truly are the fuel to this fire of Escape Adulthood.
Messy.
I know he's over here just
so messy.
eating. Is this rude? It's just rude to me because I could smell it. Okay. But yeah, thank you to Kristen Haney. I love this little sketch drawing that you sent in of your sweet little cone, and Tracy's with the color. That's so cute. I love it so much.
Like
it looks
the
like a little hat
swirl
on top almost, And Ben sent in what he called, this is like a band that he named the Nacho Swirls. So yeah, Tracy's, are you ready?
Because we were talking about one-hit wonders last week.
Right, the Nacho Swirls.
And nachos, so.
And look at the guy on the skateboard with his like black, he looks like he's totally like from the
Elvis dude.
I know, I love
it's pretty
him
great.
so much.
And then our kids, I have to put up a picture next week. I don't have it, but
they were busy this weekend.
All three of them were watching our YouTube channel with the Let's Draw episodes. Now we're up to 10 or 11 of them, and they were going one by one, and it was so cool to see each of them put their different spins on it. Like Ginny is Technicolor girl, so everything is pinks and lime, and
she's kind of learning from you, Steven, in that she like takes something and then she kind of goes with it in a different direction, which I know you do a lot. And so I think she's been inspired by your artwork, Steven, to kind of do that. So we'll share some of that next week for sure.
So our meme of the week has to do with school. Every parent right now.
So let's start school in person. Let's start school online. Let's homeschool. Everyone is like, no.
With all options that.
This is why school exists, people, right?
Yes. I will say though, we had someone that emailed you recently that was. Now we're at a spot where obviously a lot of school districts are deciding what they're going to do for
this very
the coming year, right. And we've got some emails from parents who are like, you know what? I think if they're going to go virtual this year, I think we're going to homeschool, at least for the year, like on purpose. Right. And I think that's cool. It's one of those things where it's a chance now where you're not thrown into it like we were earlier. You can kind of like be a little bit more mindful about how you want to proceed. And if you want, you could say, you know what, I'm just going to do it for the year and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. And everyone is going to be like, cool with that,
nobody's judging,
and
nobody's assuming you'll do it forever.
It's the perfect time to experiment if that's what you wanted to do.
Tinker Project Homeschool. I mean, if we could be a support to anybody who's thinking about doing that, please send us your questions and throw up the email again.
Well, ironically, escapeadulthood.me is the website. The one that's up there right now goes to our Escape Adulthood League, and we have a special group for homeschool, for people who are homeschoolers, interested about homeschooling. So the Escape Adulthood League is totally free. And if you want just thoughts, or if you have questions, or like, how does this work? What do I need to know?
And quick background on that. I'm a former educator turned homeschooler. So I kind of have perspective on both worlds a little bit. So if that helps to answer any questions or thoughts or concerns, we're happy to answer anything that people throw our way.
Yeah, and because of that expertise, we're also excited. We've done a lot of work in the education market, and just the other day, you got a client, a contract for this year that is using the Chance of Awesome book for all their teachers. For the theme is like going to be a year of awesome, right?
Awesome.
And so I'm going to be doing 3 programs for them throughout the year, and they're going to be using the book in their staff meetings and
the artwork. So if you hire Jason, as a speaker or our virtual program together, you get the artwork throughout the year to use license free. And so I think she's really excited, and she's actually a past client. So they know what they're getting. And so she was pretty cute about like, this whole year is going to be awesome. And they're just putting it in a positive prophecy, right? Like they're putting it into the year because it could be really intimidating.
Yeah.
So it's pretty inspiring to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So wherever you find yourself, if you are a parent, whichever of these scenarios that you can relate to, we're happy to support you in whatever way we can. And just, give yourself grace. It's a mess, but good things can come of it, especially if you're open to it. So some
Amy,
good adultitis fighting going on.
Oh my gosh. Amy sent us this, I think it was last night. And she said when she was little, she used to eat the M&Ms in a certain color order. So when she decided to have her M&Ms last night, she decided, you know what? I can kind of combine this with the Shine On coloring sheet. And this is what she sent us, which makes me so hungry for M&Ms. I have to tell you.
That would be good with Skittles.
I know.
It'd be
right?
fun.
I love it. And of course, I saw this online, Kara. I had to share it because obviously you shared it with me. But amazing. The shirt looks so good on you. So thank you for sharing that.
It really does.
And Kara is such a good example of someone who's doing that every single day, continuing to shine during this time. So thanks for your example, Kara. And Barb pulled over and found these amazing, enormous wishes. Have you seen one this big? Is this even a dandelion?
Did we see them in Idaho? Right? Did we see a couple?
I think we did.
And I don't know if these are technically dandelions.
I know.
They're in the same family. Right. I don't know. But like Dandatigers? I don't know.
Cool. Or maybe it was just like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids device reversed or something.
Yeah, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was that the sequel?
Yes,
I Blew Up the Kids.
I think it was.
So thank you for
sending that fun picture in. And then the dolls. So this is really cool. I wanted to share this. Probably about a year ago, the dolls reached out. They have been to a couple Wonder Nights that we've had, our art show, and met them at an art fair, actually.
Yeah. And
they were about to buy a new teardrop camper to go have fun with. And they reached out and said, would we be able to license, for lack of a better term, your artwork for our camper? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, they could put like a custom design on it.
How cool is
So
this?
they got this, they finally got it.
Which is so cute, by the way. I love the design.
You might not be able to see, but on the back there is one of my pieces that's Let's Go Places. And the entire back is covered with that, which is awesome.
I know.
It turned out so cool. And
can I just share a tidbit about that art? Jason made this art years ago. I'm talking, I don't know, like maybe when Lucy was born or something. But if
shortly thereafter, I believe,
if you look at the car, it is now the dynamic of our family. 2 blues and
creepy.
3 pinks. I know. So I just love sharing that. I think people who see it now are like, oh, that's your family. I'm like, yeah, Jason did that a long time ago. That's really, really eerie.
Yeah.
So.
This actually reminds me way back. Was it before we were? No, it must have been after we were married. Your neighbor, back to when you you grew up in Ottawa, he had this big red truck.
Yes, he was going to be driving things across the country.
I don't know what it was for.
Moving, yeah.
But he gave me the opportunity to paint it, whatever I wanted, and so we painted the Kim and Jason characters, the cartoon characters with the logo Kim and Jason
like
on
mural.
Both sides, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like literally painted by hand, and
I'm going to try to find those pictures.
Yeah, we've got them somewhere.
We do.
We got them somewhere, but we'll have to share that. But that reminds me of that. This was a lot easier for me to do, for sure.
Very, very cool.
So
you never know. I mean, and that's another thing is like the opportunities that pop up with your art it's just always an adventure.
Yeah. So if you have any adultitis fighting that you're doing out there, as you can see, we love to share what you guys are up to, fun things that you have going on. Even, don't think it has to be this big, gigantic thing. Like some of my favorite things are the small acts of kindnesses that people do for one another, sharing their talents, their skills, bringing light into the world. So we always love to get those pictures. You can send them to kj@escapeadulthood.com. And it's time for a giveaway.
Yes.
Today, we are giving away a print of this, The Peach That Transcends All Understanding. By the way, this original painting is one of the only originals that is currently on our store for sale. Our original is very limited right now. I'm obviously making a lot of new pieces, and we are going to do some sort of virtual Wonder Night this year, like an online art show where I'm going to share some of the stories behind the paintings and put those up for sale. But right now, that's one of the few that's still available. So if that is something that strikes your fancy based on tonight's message, we'd love to get that. We always like seeing them in people's homes. I've got enough paintings here, I can tell you. But this one we're going to give away to the people someone who's watching live right now is going to win this.
And you have to answer this question in the comments to get a chance to win. What animal, real or imaginary, would you most like to ride?
Yeah. Last week, Steve Arnold was our winner.
Yes.
He
and
won. We asked,
what
was last week? Favorite one-hit wonder, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that was what we asked last week.
And actually, we didn't even share that. Suzanne, I just remembered Suzanne.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
Put together the Spotify playlist of all the songs that were put in there. So we'll have to share that.
Yes.
How can we get that to people?
I will make a note.
Okay, we'll share it next week.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Suzanne. That was so epic.
I put that out last week. I'm like, someone needs to make a playlist of all these one-hit wonders. And Suzanne did. So we will share that with everyone.
So cool.
Okay, so favorite animal, real or imaginary, you'd most like to ride? What are we're getting some in here already. Amy says a flying dragon.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
We got a lot of dragons. We got dragon, and then flying dragon. Is there such thing as a non-flying dragon? That's what I would like to know.
I don't know.
Jill says an elephant.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Lucy will appreciate this. Always a horse, a Frisian.
That's Lucy's favorite.
Here we go. Brontosaurus, Kim.
Ooh, that's cool.
That would be pretty rad.
Nice.
A flamingo.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Eagle.
That would be really
Then
neat,
a seahorse, and I can meet an octopus. There you go.
So now my imagination is going crazy because I'm like a seahorse, like a tiny seahorse, like you're tiny.
That's interesting.
Or a
you go
big
like
seahorse.
Ant-Man size, where you shrink down.
Either way, it's cool.
What about? Okay, here's a question. I've seen that sometimes people ride ostriches.
Yeah,
that feels like you'd fall right off.
What a Swiss Family Robinson? That there's a scene of that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Would you ever want to do that?
Yes.
You would?
Yes. Immediately.
Is a saddle required?
No.
Do you
maybe
just grab his neck?
Elbow pads.
What's going on there? That's what I want to know.
A helmet? I don't know.
Ed says a unicorn. Here we go. Julie's got narwhal.
Nice.
Scott, a liger. Breed for their skills and magic.
Oh, which one?
Sweet.
That's right.
We got to introduce Ben to the liger when we watched Napoleon Dynamite recently. He thought that was pretty sweet.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Loch, pull it up. Loch Ness Monster. Brian.
That's pretty adventurous.
That's a good one. What else we got?
Steve.
Dolphin.
Nice.
Dolphin. That's great. Steven actually rode an elephant in Thailand.
That's
Here we go. Here's a bouncy one. Kangaroo.
Oh, that's
says
cool.
kangaroo.
That's awesome.
Here we Rainbow unicorn.
Hey.
Taking it up a notch.
If you're going to do a unicorn, That would be Rose. She would up it.
Yeah.
Like, I need a rainbow
Glitter,
unicorn.
sparkly rainbow unicorn.
Right?
Robert
Rob?
Falcor, because he is a luck dragon, which is awesome. He's not wrong.
Is Falcor like a real character?
It's, what do you mean a real character? Like it's a
Falcor?
character. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, no, I think fictional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Magic. Is it bred for magic? Yes. It's probably.
Groot. Oh, that's awesome.
So we've got some good ones. So keep those coming.
You know what mine would be? And just because this is like a household name that gets brought up like every other day right now, is Babu Frick. Babu Frick.
You want to ride Babu Frick?
Yes. And I don't know. Like maybe just
tiny Kim.
Like a little, I just think it would be fun to see life through the eyes of Babu Frick.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Good ones.
Keep your comments coming. We always leave them open and keep watching for them for a few minutes after the show, just in case you want to get one last entry in there. I would say that we're getting close to the end, but we got one more plug to make. It's sort of torture.
I know.
I know that Kim has been sharing on Facebook a countdown.
And people are sending me pictures with numbers. So that is
People
so
are
cool.
excited.
We're on day 17 days until August 8th, which is officially Escape Adulthood Day if you have a Celebrate Everything calendar, which just seemed like the right day to do this.
Seemed like the appropriate time to launch our next new venture. And although we can't reveal the name, probably next week we'll be revealing some more details beyond just these terrible teasers. I can say this. We weren't able to have the Escape Adulthood Summit this year for obvious reasons. And we had people that suggested maybe you should do it virtual, maybe you should do it online. And we thought about that. But we also wanted to honor what the summit is as an in-person experience. However, one of the things that we've learned from this whole experience is that you don't need to be in a physical location to create an amazing experience. And that's one of our favorite things to do, is to create experiences for people who appreciate them, people who honor their childlike spirit. And so this new thing that we're launching is kind of like a summit experience, but it goes all year long, and you don't need to be all in one place to do it. It's going to be something that's going to be open to everyone, and it's going to be pretty rad.
We've been using all that we've learned for the last 20 years to build this, which is not an understatement. We've actually kind of dissected it and reverse engineered some of it to think and to look at it. And we're like, holy cow, this is from that, and that's from that, and that's from that. So it's pretty huge.
We realized that some of the things that we did in the past that maybe didn't work as well as we thought they would at the time, turns out they were practice for this, because it's like pulling them all together into this one new thing that is it's pretty exciting. So this will be the next chapter. It's coming August 8th. It's not far away. The best way to find out about what it is to keep tuning in live here and become an insider. Adultitis insiders, Adultitis Fighters who are subscribed to the Insider will not be left out of the loop. You will be the ones to find out what is actually going to be happening. And probably next week we're going to be talking more about Escape Adulthood Day, because we have some cool things planned for that, to celebrate, ways for you to get in on the celebration and win prizes. It's going to be great. So keep tuned in for more news very, very soon.
And if you see any numbers from 16 to 0 out in the world, send them to me, because I'm on day 17 today. So send them to me.
Yes.
And we will post them every day as we get excited to count down to 0.
That is it, you guys, for this week's show. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Shine on, spread whimsy, and be awesome.